Welcome to the show, Jayce.
Oh, thank you, JD. Appreciate it.
Now,
It's
you
been
and
a
I
long
met.
time, bud.
I know. Well, our schedules. You and I met almost 5 years ago in rehab together.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time, man. That's crazy. It's been 5 years.
5 years in April is when I went to rehab. So it's been a solid 4.5 years. I mean, I've seen you since then.
Yeah, a couple times I remember.
I
You came down that one time.
Yeah. When was the last time you used?
Uh, Dude, I don't have a date, but it was about 4.5 years ago. It was probably just, I can't remember if it was just before that time or if it was.
You had gone out when we were in sober living together. You had gone,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you got kicked
I went
out.
out for a little while.
Yeah, and because we went to the Comedy Store, me and you.
Yeah,
And
I know that.
it was a 2 drink minimum, and you drank both of my drink minimum and your drink minimum.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, that was a good night though too. That was a bunch
It
of
was
good.
fun. Hell yeah. Hey, he remember he pointed me out. He said something about me. He said, "Where's your girl?" You know what I mean? Like I remember him saying some shit.
He was making fun of both of us for our tattoos.
Oh yeah, it was the tattoos. Yeah.
Both
I
of
bet you don't have a job. I said some shit.
I mean, he wasn't wrong.
Nah, he wasn't right. I didn't have no job at that point.
You weren't working yet. Eventually, and you got on the Vivitrol shot, and I remember you tried using, even though you got the injection.
Yep, did not work. That shit blocks. They ain't feel nothing. Nothing.
So let's rewind. Did you grow up in Portland or?
Yeah, I grew up in Clackamas, Oregon, which is that's like the outskirts cities of. So you got like LA. It's like like an outer city of Portland.
A suburb of
Portland. A little suburb. Yeah, it's a suburb of Portland.
It's like me when I say Philly. I'm grew up 5 minutes from Philly, but really it's in New Jersey, 5 minutes away. It's a suburb.
It's a little suburb. I'm like 15 minutes from Portland.
Now, you grew up brothers and sisters?
I had a sister. She passed away from a drunk driving accident, leaving a party when I was 10.
10 years. She was your only sibling?
She's the only. Yeah, I'm an only child now. Yeah, but she was 17.
At 10 years old.
What's that?
How did you take that as a 10-year-old processing that?
Man, I didn't really like. I remember the day perfectly too. I remember I was at my dad's, and I was sleeping, and I heard him screaming. I remember I was upstairs, and I heard him screaming, and I came to the top of the stairs, and I remember he was like holding his nose like this, and I thought he broke his nose or something. And then I remember him telling me, and I just like sat down, and it was just I couldn't process nothing like that at 10 years old. It was really it was just like hard to grasp, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's crazy. That was the first real like death I've ever felt in my life, where it was like someone who was really close to me, who I like saw on a daily basis. But at that age, I just couldn't comprehend I just knew she was gone. You know what I mean? At that point, I didn't have any I didn't know anything about it.
You didn't know what grief was. You didn't know if crying was okay, or if that was even an emotion you could feel.
I cried a little bit, but I feel like it would have affected me more if I was a little older. I think the age that it happened was probably the best age it could have happened for me. Just because I didn't have that grasp of death or a grasp of, reality yet. You're still such a child at 10 years old that it's, your parents tell you like, oh, they went to the upper, they went to heaven, or they went to the upper, wherever they say. And that's just what you think. You're like, you just know they're gone. But
you already discovered drinking or anything by the time you were 10?
No. I was, I remember my first time I smoked weed was, I think I was 14, maybe 13. I was a freshman. Oh yeah, I was a freshman in high school, and I smoked on the side of my house with my homies out of an apple. I remember that was the first time I ever smoked anything. So I was probably your average, 13, 14, coming into seeing stuff, the world.
Yeah, because I know, you were big opiates
Yes.
But obviously you didn't find them right away because you
No.
were just more of a stoner kid.
Yeah, I was just your average fucking skater stoner kid. You know what I mean? Like I've never really had an addictive personality. Like nothing ever had that grasp on me like that ever. And heroin was the one thing because I went straight to it, and I remember that was just the one thing. And the problem with me, for me, was that no one tells you, you're gonna be physically dependent on this, given if you do this a certain amount of time, or you're gonna be, you know what I mean? Like no one tells you those things. And I think the worst thing they tell you when you're younger is like you're one hit, you're addicted. One hit, you're addicted. That's bullshit. Because now people take that hit and they go, I feel the same. You know what I mean?
The same as counting days in AA.
Yeah.
Like if you fuck up one day, you're gonna just be like, well, they're all gonna say back to zero. I might as well go get really high.
Might as well fuck it, right? Exactly. I don't even keep track of my time because it's like, to me, it's like it's not about when I got sober. It's about my future. It's about, do I stay this way, and how do I, you know what I mean? My whole goal when I got clean was to be a normal human being, was to go back to being normal. I didn't want to have to take a pill. I didn't want to have to take a medication or do any sort of thing that I have to maintain this. You know what I mean? I just want to wake up, be in society. You know what I mean? Be a normal person. Like go to the grocery store. I think about AA too. Like why I kind of stopped going is because I was hearing about drugs constantly, I love the helping aspect of it. But for me personally, I had to step away from hearing about drugs all the time because that was my goal, was to be a normal person. So I didn't want to. Normal people don't talk about drugs. They don't. You know what I mean? It's not a conversational piece. So I think that helped me a lot after I stepped away, to when I started feeling that aspect in me. Because you know me, I was never really that kind of step guy, or I was very self-willed and self-motivated to.
Yeah, you weren't at the meetings for the steps.
No, hell no. No, I was at the meetings for a whole night. Hey, it got me to a meeting, when I was in the meeting, I listened, and I took what people said, and I took what I liked out of it and what I wanted, and I applied that to my life.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, because we would talk about how the meeting went.
Yeah.
Or the speaker or all that shit. We would be relating the entire time, because we would always go to 26 and Broad together.
Well,
and
good spot.
The Nooners there, because Marina Center Nooners.
Or yeah, you don't want to be there, bro. I mean, you want to be there, but that was not the spot. Yeah. I would much rather go to 26 and Broadway than the Marina Center at 12 o'clock.
And then I used to get you to come out, because I would say, come to the midnight meeting at Marina Center, and you're like, all right, fine, I'll come to the late night meeting. And that would be the one meeting of the day that you go to, is the 11 o'clock meeting at Marina Center. That was one of my favorite meetings, was going there at midnight and hang at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, out late night.
12:30.
Chill crowd there too at night. It's a whole different crowd than at 12. At 12.
Well, because 12:30, the 12 o'clock crowd was all the other rehabs that were sending people there in the druggy buggies.
No.
Or Dauphine limousine, whatever you want to call them.
Dauphine limousine, baby. Great times.
They would get bussed in like we would, and then the entire meeting, there'd be like 5 people that have some decent time, and they just shit on the rest of us for having under 30 days.
Yep.
We went to 26 and Broad. It was a more working class kind of meeting where people were there on their lunch break, or they had a regular job. They were part of society.
It wasn't so much the drug, exactly what you're saying. It wasn't the druggy buggy crew. It was people who, even normal people our age, that were like just actually trying to be clean and be good.
And I made a bunch of good friends out of there too. They've been on my show a bunch of times, and it just, you gain those kind of friendships. I mean, like us, we went to meetings together, so we talked all the time.
No.
And plus, we would play basketball every day when I was like an inpatient, and then when you went back to inpatient, when you got your ass.
Yeah, because you were there when I got back, right? When I decided to come back, I remember you were there. You were in the sober living part of it, I think.
I was in the sober. Yeah, Nicole gave me one more chance.
Yeah, that was honestly, look, when I came back, bro, that was the shift. There was something happened when I was out there. I remember it perfectly. Like I don't have a great memory, dude, but I remember key notes in my life where something was drastically, like something changed. And I remember I was sitting there in the car with my homie. I was out with Andrew, we were running the streets selling on, anyways, I'm at OC, And I remember I'm doing my shot, right? I'm doing my shot, looking down like normal, and I like when I pulled it out and I looked up, dude, I remember seeing completely different than I saw when I was looking down. Like every other day, I saw cut. Like it was the craziest switch, and I was looking around. I was like, "What the fuck is going on? How did I get here?" I started asking myself questions. It was like I saw myself from third person. Was like, "This is not you, bro. Like this is the first real moment I had like this." And I remember I looked at my buddy, looked at Andrew, and I was like, I just out of nowhere, I looked at my phone. I went, I'm negative, shit ton of money in my account, right? I'm like, I looked at Uber, immediately clicked it, and I fucking sent the address to fucking treatment, to that treatment center. And I went, click. And I looked at Andrew. I said, if this works, I'm leaving, bro. I'm sorry. And it fucking worked, bro. It was like I was in fucking Orange County. It was a $250 ride or some shit. I was already negative a shit ton of money, bro. Like, how did this work? That would never work. To me, that it was so like, it was so fate driven that I was like, this is it, bro. This is the moment. And that was the moment where I truly shifted. I fucked up after that point, but that was the moment where that's all it was. It was a fuck up. It was instead of oh, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm going to go for a week. It was a one time bang. And then like, damn, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, that's crazy. And it was a realization every single time. And then they got spread further and further apart and further until the point where it just became, this is the normal. This is.
Well, yeah, because you switched. When you came back from that, and then you and I met, and then you went on the Vivitrol shot, and you had that fuck up again, and then they wouldn't take you back in inpatient, and I think they sent you to the last house. Is that where you went?
I went to, so after you, I went to Hauser.
With Vinny, right?
With Vinny, yeah. Well, no, Vinny's in design. So design was the final house I went to. Design.
Okay, I knew you were in there with him. He was on here like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Vinny,
telling his story.
I got videos of him. I got some good.
Him and Zach.
I didn't interact with Zach a whole lot. I hung out with Vinny quite a bit. I didn't. Zach was kind of he recluse. You know what I mean? He just didn't want to. He was very. But Vinny, I hung out with a little bit. I was around him quite a bit. But the real crew I hung out with there was Tyler Bowman. That's who this is right here. It's his. He owns a sober living in a treatment center now. Actually.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Came out of the sign house. That dude helped me quite so much, man. Like he helped me build that camaraderie of like a group of dudes that like. We sat down. Design House was one of those houses that was like no fucking joke, bro. It was like 6 hour, 10 hours, some point Sundays of everyone sitting down shitting on each other, like calling you like, motherfucker, you're going to meetings just for girls. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like the real shit. Like, and that's what really, gave me, that's what I needed. I needed that kind of like homies to fucking be like, bro, you're fucking up, bro. Like you're fucking, so I could look in within myself and go, you're right. I am fucking up. This is wrong. I know it subconsciously, but like, I'm not applying the solution to my life. Yeah. But so I went from Hauser, fucked up. I drank there. And then I went to the Design House after that.
Because your whole thing was, I'm not an alcoholic. I just want to be able to drink like a regular person.
Yeah, like I'll still have beers. Like I have maybe 2-3 beers a week. I still smoke hella weed. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a normal human being, and I did that with a lot of willpower. A lot of like, so there was something that happened at Design House that really, again, one of those memorable moments that shifted for me, where it changed. I remember I was getting ready to leave. I met Sarah at this point, and me and Sarah were going to move into an apartment. I'd been at Design House for quite some time. And I went to Derek, who's the house manager there, and I said, hey, I'm going to move in with my girlfriend. One, I found out they were getting $500 from my dad behind my back, so I was like, that's disrespect. Why wouldn't you tell me about it? You know what I mean? Why would you be you're requesting $1,500 from me and then also getting, you know what I mean? I was just upset a little bit. So I was like, hey, I'm going to get my own place, I was just letting him know I appreciate. This guy went into his folder, went into his file cabinet, slapped a files this big on the desk, slapped him on the desk and went, if you leave, this will be you. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, this is the list of all the people that have died that came here and left. And I looked at him and I was like, bro, that's so foul, bro. Like, that's so foul you would ever even put that on me. Like, I'm out here trying to do my best and make the best decisions for me. I'm sorry that I'm leaving and gonna cost you some money or whatever it is, but like for you to say that or like even put that energy out there, like that's some that's where I switched on the sober living and really kind of switched to self-will and like I'm gonna be that 1%. You know what I mean? That was my mental thing. I'm gonna be that 1%. I will not be the statistic 99. I've come too far. I've gained too much. Like for instance, today I hit my car with a forklift, straight mangled my shit. And today I can sit back and you know what I mean, and be like, you know what? How did I fuck up? I fucked up. It was completely my fault. You know what I mean? There's no one to blame other than myself. Lesson learned. Like it's an expensive lesson, but it's something I can look at now. I can look inside instead of just reacting to it or like, you know, I've come a long way mentally, and
Yeah.
I'm very appreciative to all the people in my life, especially you know, that helped me do all that.
Yeah, well, you helped me early on too because I didn't know shit. You had been jumping rehab to rehab and rehab and playing the
Yeah,
rehab.
I was playing the rehab game for sure. Yeah.
And so by the time we met, you had been to like 20 different treatments, and this was the first treatment, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here.
Yeah, you just came here from Philly. You don't know what's going on. I remember.
I had no idea. You were like 2 weeks clean at the time, which was like, holy shit, that's so much time to me. I didn't know any better. And so you would like put me under your wing, like, no, this is what we're going to meetings for. And then I thought we were going to meetings for the same thing. And eventually one of the meetings actually stuck for me. And it wasn't just going there and checking out girls. It was going there for the reason of being sober.
Yeah.
And I think you saw that switch for me early on, around
I remember
30, 45 days.
You took it head on, man. You did what a lot of people couldn't do, bro. Like you came into an unknown situation, so far from home, weak, broken, scared, and you took that, bro, and fucking used it as fuel. I watched you go from the scared guy that came here to the fucking strong, confident dude that left here when I left, and
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy, bro. I help people now all the time. Like my coworker, we're about to send him to treatment. Like the owner's about to pay for it. There's a whole thing going on, but like I'm here. I don't actively search to help people, but if it comes in front of me and it is just here, I'm good at heart and I'm gonna do everything I can to help somebody if they're in need. And
mostly what it was just playing basketball and bullshitting, having conversations, and you know, we would sit next to each other in the van, head to a meeting, figure out like what the fuck was going on. Then you got into sober living, and you would still come to meetings with us. You would walk over to our house and hop in the van. You remember Matt?
Matt, I do remember Matt.
Matt, he was on my show, and he had
Matt.
Yeah, Matt. He's a skinny dude that was a contortionist. No, not bald. No, Matt. It was skinny. He was like a contortionist, and he would take us to the Comedy Store every Saturday.
Yep, I remember Matt. I do remember Matt. The RA.
Yeah. He had like a year's sobriety at the time. Like he had barely a year, and he was working there. And dude, some of the shit that he's told me. I gained all this from like the first few months of just taking everything in, hearing other people's stories. I do this show because I enjoy hearing people's stories, and this is like a way for me to have meetings, and meetings, two alcoholics having a conversation. So to me, these are my meetings. I went to an in-person meeting tonight with Jules because I can't say no to Jules.
Jules. Does she live out there?
No, that's what I mean.
She was just visiting.
She made a big splash in our town 2 years ago. She was traveling from Indiana to New York City, and I happened to live off of the highway where she was traveling. And she hit me up, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Nothing. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm just relaxing." She's like, "Tomorrow's your birthday?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, I'm stopping by." She ended up giving me a bunch of tattoos for my birthday, just like in the living room of our fucking house, just giving out tattoos. And I got Randy Marsh smoking weed.
Oh, lady. Yeah, this is the Jules here. The freehand upside down, not freehand, but upside down. No, it was.
No, it was freehand.
Oh, it was free. She was looking. I remember. She was looking at it upside down, and it was freehand. You're right.
Yeah.
And
She's
she
never
did
used
so
a
good
single
too,
day in
bro.
her life.
Yeah, that's so wild, bro. How her lines were clean, bro. Like it's in a line, like it. She
And this
did such a
wasn't
good job.
this wasn't in a tattoo shop. We would hang out in her front yard
Yeah,
in
bro,
Venice and get tattoos. And we thought
bro.
we were cool as shit because we're in Venice and we're not our sober livings. We're not like in treatment. We're just like in Venice, California, and we're both just chilling, getting tattoos on this front yard.
Oh, this front yard, bro. Fucking big ass dog, cool ass dog. Yeah, it was real
Dada,
surfer
I
vibe, dude.
just saw him a while ago. He was with her on this trip.
Oh
She's on
hell
her way to New York to paint, and then she painted in our town. Like a few years back when she was coming through, she was like, "See if anybody wants anything painted," like jokingly. And I posted it on the town's Facebook, and I got this huge response. So I ended up taking her around to like 6 different places that day where she was painting all day. I was helping her. And she fucking killed it, making money with all these different people. The next year she came back, she had a laundry list of like places to hit that she didn't have time
yeah.
to
Hit
hit.
her up. Hell
Yeah. And then she just got paid to do like this town pool. Even though the pool's closed, they knew they could only get her when she's in town. So she spent like 6 hours today painting that. And then she was like, dude, I need a fucking meeting. And I was like, shit, I got plans tonight. But I was like, you're in town. I was like, let's go
Yeah.
to a meeting.
Oh, 100%. That's a very rare occurrence, I'm sure. So
It's like once a year. It's like once every October she's in town. But she's saying this is her last tour and she's going to stop doing the muck tours because she still has that Venice house. It's a recovery house now.
oh, lit. Okay.
It's got like 5 meetings a day outside that house now.
And that's like her original spot too, man. Like all the paintings that are all around there hanging out.
Yep, and they're still all over the place. She's painted it up, and she actually bought a house in Santa Ana.
Oh, is she making big bucks now?
Yeah,
No,
dude.
I'm
She's
sure.
she's
No.
not fucking around. Like all I know is in that one day I took her around, she probably made 5 or 6, and I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Six,
in a
yeah,
day.
for sure.
In a
Easy.
like,
Light work.
and that's in the middle of nowhere prices. And if you're in LA, you're paying LA
Oh,
prices.
she's I've been following her art on her Instagram, and she kills it, bro. All the shit she does, bro, is fucking insane. It's wild.
And she still hits a meeting every single day, no matter where she is in the country.
Yeah,
So,
definitely a dedicated person.
yeah, she is. She's one of the hardest working people I've ever, like, how fast she works and watching her. Like, it's different seeing her Instagram stories, but actually
Yeah.
being with her and watching her do what she does. Like, she freehands even her spray paint. Like, she's fucking crazy, the work ethic that she has and the ability she has.
It's just passionate, man. You can see it in her art. Is the passion comes through.
Let's rewind again before I lose track. Now, you're a pothead. I mean, right now you are, but I mean, as a kid you were too.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like a. Yeah, I was by it. Yeah, I'd say I was by it.
Why or when did you skip the dope?
I went straight through it, bro. So I had a rave phase from 18 to. Actually, no, 16 to, I think it was 16 to 18, 19 or so. I had a rave phase too. But I started using heroin around 16, probably late 17, early, mid 17-ish.
Why?
You know, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can come up with and really put something to is that I had a lot of trauma as a young kid. You know, I'm very compartmentalize things. You know what I mean? I'm very like, my mom always taught me to deal with things like cry. If I need to cry, cry. It's okay. You know what I mean? If you need to, so I've always been pretty good at dealing with some things, but I think subconsciously, on the subconscious level, I was probably pretty hurt. And like I had a gun in school at 15. I got caught, and that kind of fucked my life up pretty good. I didn't graduate high school because of it, so it put me back pretty bad. So when I got out, and then I got a job leasing and managing apartments. I was leasing at first, and I got up to managing, and I was making a lot of money, bro. A lot of money at 18. While everyone else was about to go to school, I was making insane money, bro. Insane money. And I think that my friends were all doing heroin. Not all of them, but my close, good friends were kind of dabbling with heroin a little bit. I was very against it, and I cut them all off. I remember I walked in on them smoking one time, and I was like, y'all are fucking stupid. Like, and I fucking left. And I went and did some other stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like more of like robbing cars and shit. You know what I mean? Just equally as stupid, but like, you know, not that. And then I cut them out for a while. And then they're my homies. You know what I mean? These are my best friends that I've had since fucking I was little. So it's like, obviously I went and hung out with them again. And I think what just happened, I just had money at that time. I kind of was in a invincible mind state and kind of you know, I'm on top of the world. There's nothing that's going to take me out, you know, kind of mindset. And I think that's what ultimately led me again. And then I was doing it, but then I have in my mind all those things I was saying, you know, earlier about like, no one told me I'm going to get addicted. No one said these things. I just doing it until all of a sudden I'm waking up now and I'm kind of sick and I don't know why. And then I use it again and then I'm not sick anymore. I didn't make that correlation early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the first time I withdrew, I had no idea I was withdrawing.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm sick. What the fuck is this?
And I even called out of work for like 2 days because I thought I had the flu.
Yeah.
And then it took me getting back on them again and then having withdrawals and then getting high right away to make myself feel better. I'm like, oh, so in July, I didn't have the flu. I was just having withdrawals.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was one of those things that it didn't stop me. If anything, it gave me the answer to all my problems.
Now I know what fixes me. Oh, sweet. Now I know. It's like a doctor. You get the flu, you go get some cough medicine, right? Yep. It's the same aspect, you know. And at that point, it's too late. You know, you're already in it.
Sure.
What was that?
You find the cure.
Yeah, and then you find your temporary fix for being sick all the time.
Yeah, and then if we were using because we were sick, it was using because we were just trying to numb.
Yeah.
Like you lost your sister at 10, so I'm sure at 18, I mean, you were like having a bunch of these feelings.
Yeah, I thought of her all the time. So yeah, it for sure, like whether I knew it hurt me or not, she did pop up a lot. Like she pop in my dreams every once in a while. Like, you know, so I think it really ultimately I was hurting in a deeper level. I had really bad anger issues too. Like when I was younger, like really if you looked in my fucking room, there was a not wall. No, all four were literally just holes. Like it was bad. I was a very angry kid.
Your parents divorced?
Yeah, they divorced 2 years. So when I was 8, before my sister died. So it was the divorce, and then that happened, and I was kind of like going, you know, doing the weekend thing at my dad's, and it just kind of, it's hard. I don't know. You know, it was hard as a young kid, you know, not understanding any of that shit. So, and no one really explains it to you. You know, it's kind of just like.
What do you say to a kid? What do you say to a kid?
Exactly. Like, we're separating, we're leaving, you know, as a kid, your mindset is Disney movies or whatever, as everyone's happily ever after. Everyone's, you know, what do you mean this is, you know what I mean? It's just so, we're just taught the wrong things at a young age, I think. And it affects us in a later state where we have questions that we don't have the right answers to, or, you know, and I think I was just a victim of, you know, trauma and fucking not knowing what's going on, or, you know, the answers. So I found my own solution, and that was, this numbs me. I don't even think about it while I'm doing this. It's cool, but it's subconscious. It's literally not even that I'm thinking that I'm doing it for that reason. It's just, it's doing that.
How long does it last for you keeping your good job while also discovering dope?
I had my job for that. Everything started going downhill. I started being sick more and more and more. Right now, every day I'm waking up. My homie from high school actually lived 5 minutes from my work, so I would go every lunch, go over to his house, you know, go smoke, whatever, come back to work. It got to the point where I'm in the bathroom at work smoking, like, and I'm nodding out. I'm in the front desk, slumped, head on the fucking desk. People walk in, like, so obviously I started being late more, started not giving a fuck, you know what I mean? Just start kind of getting that mentality of fuck it, you know, I don't fucking care. Like, I literally don't give a shit, you know? And then I lost so I'd say probably 6 months or so.
It didn't take you long to spiral
No,
out to it.
no. Once I was once I was like physically dependent on it, it became rampant because in everything to not feel that feeling, I was doing it way more excessively, to not feel the sickness, to preparing for the next sickness. You know what I mean? Completely just trying to avoid that. And that is my only goal. So in that aspect, I'm now doing it fucking crazy. Like I'm now fucking consuming so much. And when you lose your job, what do? You start selling. You start selling because you want to use for free. And, that's how I made my ends meet. And then I think the first time I ever tried to get clean was 2015. I went to Washington to treatment and it worked. I actually did great. The kick was off. This is the first time I ever kicked in my life like that. And it was dreadful. I'm in the druggy buggy with blankets in the back, like been laying down in the back. Everyone's fucking chilling up. It was dreadful.
They give you anything, or did you have to go through a cold?
No, they did, but the issue is I took it early because me, I'm begging for it. Like fucking get him to break. Fucking he gives it to me. I take it early. Now I'm fucking really in hell. I thought I was in hell before. Now I'm fucking literally in burning flames. Like, and it's so it was absolutely awful. And then
What made you go that first time in 2015? Because how old are you right now?
I'm 30.
30? Okay, so this was 7-8 years ago. A few years before we even met. What made you want to go to rehab at 20-something years old?
So I think I was 22. I was 22, I think, around there. Yeah, 22. I had been doing it for now, 4 years, 4.5 years or so. I was, again, when I say I didn't have really an addict mentality, I didn't. So like the physical addiction was so much for me that like, I lost my train of thought here, but
your physical addiction, and you didn't have a addictive personality.
So I never had an addictive personality really, and I was sick of it. I was done. I hated the drug. I liked it for the first 2 years it was there. It was cool, But after that, I despised the drug. But I could not get myself to fucking get off of it. Like I hated every day. There was no funness anymore in it. It was literally just a chore, a job. It became my fucking life. There was no care. It was tunnel vision, and I fucking hated it. So that is what ultimately led me to try, was fuck, this sucks. I hate life. I want to kill myself. You know what I mean? Like, what's the difference between killing myself and dealing with this every day? There's no difference. The only difference is I leave the people. I think about my sister, my dad, my mom in that time. And I'm like, I'm the only one left, bro. I can't fucking, I can't do that. My dad's told me too. Like, if I die, like, that's it for him. It's over. Like, he can't lose the heir to the fucking Marshall name. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so I always had that in my mind when I got clean, was doing it for myself. But I didn't ultimately do it for myself until the very, very end. But like I was always doing it for other motives, or my mom really wanted me. My mom's crying all the time. I ulterior motives, but also I did hate the drug itself and hated my life. So I was willing to try, and that's didn't succeed. I think I lasted about 7 months up there. And then I found a dealer up there. I was in kind of a fucking shitty area. And I was in kind of freedom mode at this point, and I found the dealer. And then I took me and my homie that we were clean together this whole time. And we both fucking went out and we're living in sober living in Washington at this time, fucking using every day. I was working at, I think it was 2 p.m. to 3 a.m. And I was riding my bike 15 miles to work and home every day and every night. And, yeah, I don't know. It was bad. We both went out and it was just awful. So I eventually went back to Portland, moved in with my mom again, and went back to my ex. There's an ex in this scenario who, which is the big reason of why it was so hard to really leave at all times because we were both together doing it. Like it was a together thing, and so this is a middle school. Like me and her together were there. I met her in middle school, so we were together till I was 24 from middle. So it's a long time, you know. So it was not only was I leaving the drug, I was leaving her as well. So it was a double whammy for me and a rock and a hard place to get out of. And yeah, so when we went back, we ran around for another 2 years. And then in 2017, my mom died. And that is where I really went off the fucking deep end.
And how'd your birthday?
So I was in the hospital. There's a little bit of a context to this. I was in the hospital on my deathbed, actually. I remember, I don't know if you know about my scar. So I had staph. I waited way too long for it. So it got everywhere. It was in my blood and brain. It was my whole body was basically a whole walking staph infection. And I had 4 surgeries and then got clean while I was in there too. I had a Suboxone doctor coming in. He let me take it the way I wanted. He was like, he was like, I can tell because I'm very research driven. Like when I'm taking shit, I want to know what the fuck I'm taking, how the fuck it works. As out treatment, I'd always be like, I'm not doing your fucking 14-day program. Fuck you. I'll take it for fucking 6 days or whatever. And like, that's it. Like, I'm not using this because then you're dependent on that, And it's like, but so he helped me and then I got clean. And then the day I got out of the hospital, I remember we went home and then I was going to go back up to Washington, actually go back up and go back to where I was when I was sober before. And then I remember talking to my mom in the morning, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. I was like, when you go get my ID? And she was like, yep, cool. And then I was like, I'm going to go back to sleep for a little bit. And then went to sleep, woke up probably around 12-ish. And I remember walking around and I couldn't find her. And I went outside, her car was there. And what's weird to me is that I'm a drug addict, right? My mom knows this. My mom hides her shit at this. She knows to hide everything. And everything was out. Keys, cars, cards, everything was out. And I went to a room and she wasn't in there. Bathroom doors closed. I looked over and I was like, okay. And I remember telling myself in that moment, because I had this ominous, dark feeling. I like knew what the fuck was going on, but I didn't have, you know what I mean? And I remember I was looking at that bathroom door and I went, if I walk in there and she's fucking dead, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. And I walked in there and she wasn't in there. And I was like, okay, she's still here. Fucking keep calling. I walked back out. I remember I walked back into her room and I looked over to the left and she was right there on the ground, face down. It looked like she got out of her bed and took like 2 steps. And then she ultimately died of a brain aneurysm. So I don't know how long she was there for. I was asleep, and she could have been there for hours. But when I found her nose was like compressed, like fully compressed, white, like she was still alive at this point. I flipped her over, started giving her CPR immediately, fucking called the cops. They came. I gave her CPR, so they came. And that's where it went downhill, man. That's where the real struggle started.
It's never easy, like losing a parent, especially finding a parent. I just lost my dad and we were in the room when he passed. Not easy to go, even if it's in the moment. But like you said, you had that feeling that something was, because my parents hid all that shit from me too. And if I would have walked in the house and just saw like cash out, all right, this is either a trick, someone's trying to, like, where's the hidden camera?
Something's going on here. This is not right. I know how this looks normally, and this is not how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that when you found her, you decided not to go to that sober living in Washington anymore.
No. So
this podcast is also sponsored by BetterHelp. If you are looking for therapy and not able to get something right away locally, you can do that with them. Within 48 hours, you can find a therapist to get on telehealth with you. I haven't heard anything but great things from people that have already done it, that watch my show or listen to my show. If you're looking to get 10% off your first month, you can go to betterhelp.com/MJsPNPMCA. That is betterhelp.com/MJsPNPMCA. MJ's PNP MCA.
I was clean at that point. And then they took her to the hospital. And then I didn't go. I had just that's one of those movie moments where you're literally screaming like I couldn't even think, in that moment. That my mom was the one person that like was there for me, had my back. And as hard as it is to say, she had to die in order for me to get clean. Because she coddled me, she enabled me. And that's not her fault. That's the love I got because my sister died, I'm the last child, like I'm her only. So I don't blame her at all. But I think, yeah, I'd say it like, what is it, Newton's Law? You have to give something to get something in return. And that was what I had to give.
Yeah, I mean, and you're a testament now where you're at being a normal functioning person of society. Like, just because you smoke weed or you drink a beer here and there doesn't make you a bad person. No. And you're not the only person that's been on here that still like drinks here and there or smokes weed. I mean, shit, cannabis is part of my story.
Oh yeah.
I went to high sobriety. You don't go to high sobriety.
Yeah. No, I remember that. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that was back when I was just using edibles, and now I can't even fuck with edibles because they get me too high.
Yeah, I'll do an edible like once in a blue moon, but that's on like a Friday night where I don't have nothing to do the next day. Like I can't. Like I don't smoke at work. I don't do nothing at work. Like I use it as it's a thing when I get home. It's my relaxed time. This is my leisure time. This is the time I get to, do. What's that?
You smoke bongs mostly?
No, I don't smoke flower at all. No, I smoke carts, pretty much, just dabs. I'm not a big fan of this. That's what I mean. When I was a stoner, but I wasn't like a real stoner. Like
I used to grow.
I did right before I left for Cali. Yeah, I
think I remember you showing me pictures. Like we had our phone out. We had phone for a half an hour or something like that because we would only get like 5:30 or like 9 a.m. We remember the phone's out, yeah. And you were showing me like all your pictures of like, oh dude, you're going to high sobriety. Look what I used to have, and like showing me all your setups and shit.
Yeah, it was decent. Unfortunately, when I was selling it, it was when it switched over to like legal. The black market was kind of dying at that point, and it just wasn't worth it anymore.
You would have had to mass produce it to sell it to a
mass produce. Yeah. Like my brother is a Oregon mass producer. He's actually everywhere now. He owns what's this company called? Fucking I can't remember the name of his company. He's a huge, like one of the biggest fucking sellers out here for our producers, I guess. Not so much seller, but
and I'm glad that like people don't give me shit for smoking because I don't think I'd be here today if I had the mindset that smoking's bad for me.
Yeah. Because
I would be going back to pills, and you never know what they're putting in those press 30s anymore.
No.
Like, I could have
so glad we got out.
Dude.
Because it's why I have friends dropping left and right, and it's fucking disgusting, bro. Like, you can't even get... that's another reason why I'm so sober today is I don't even fuck around. My life's too valuable, bro, to fuck around and find out. I don't want to play that game. You know what I mean?
It could just be one pill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it takes.
It's not
especially like without like doing it for a while, then all of a sudden you're putting opioid in your system again. Like I had my gallbladder removed. I got it so fucked up in addiction that like every day I was throwing up bile because I was withdrawing. So eventually my gallbladder was shutting down because all the bile that I was vomiting. And this was like 2 years into recovery, right? So I've been away from pills for like 2 years at this point. And I tell the doctors, listen, I'm an addict. Don't give me any kind of opiate. Don't give me any kind of anything while I'm under. They're like, no, don't worry about it. You're fine. I'm like, no, for real. I will go into withdrawals. Don't give me anything. And I woke up and I said to my wife, I was like, I'm high right now. And she's like, what? It's the anesthesia. And like, I was like, no, I feel like I'm high right now. And the doctor come by And I was like, "Did you give me anything?" And he was like, "Well, you were a little uncomfortable, so we gave you a shot of fentanyl and a shot of Dilaudid." I'm like,
Fentanyl and Dilaudid? You think that's not overkill?
"Dude, I told you that I'm in recovery, that I can't take this. This is because you said you haven't done a pill in 2 years." I said, "I haven't." He was like, "So you're going to be fine." I said, "You're not an addiction doctor. You don't know shit." It was an outpatient surgery, so I get into the parking lot, immediately start throwing up. Immediately. I was in withdrawals for another 18 hours. I had 6 staples in my stomach. I had to like hold a pillow over my stomach to vomit so the staples didn't.
Yeah, didn't pop up. That's fucking wild as shit.
I was so pissed. Like I was explicit. Do not give me any opioids. My body doesn't know how to react to them anymore. And doctors know best. You know what I mean? That kind of bullshit.
Doctors are the reason we're here in this situation of addiction. I mean, not the reason, but they are a contributor to the big factor.
The Sackler family.
Is that like a big pharma?
Well, Sacklers are the ones that created OxyContin.
I remember actually one of my coworkers just talking about this, and then they made, or no, there was a company that was making the better version of this originally or something, and then OxyContin said it like they were scared about it.
It was called MS Contin.
Mm-hmm.
Where that, and it was like a Vicodin, and then this guy was like, "Oh, we can call it this, and we're gonna get the FDA to approve that it's non-addictive having."
Because they used a certain word that like changed the fucking factor of it.
And the guy kept saying, "No, we're not going to do this drug." And eventually they paid him off and they gave him a job making like millions of dollars a year. And then it goes through all these doctors are getting all these pharmaceutical reps showing up saying, "Here's OxyContin. You can give it to them for just regular pain or regular chronic pain."
They'll keep coming back.
They're non-habit forming. And then when all of a sudden these people were coming back, running out of their scripts, they turned around and they said it's because they're supposed to be taken double. So then they started prescribing double over and over again. And yeah, man, like there's a it's a TV show, but it's basically a documentary it's called Dope Sick on Hulu.
Oh yeah, it's on Hulu. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I got Hulu. I'll check it out.
And there's another one that came out on Netflix. It's really similar. It's called Sackler. And it's like a different variation of Dope Sick. They both were very good. And they both showed different stories. Like, you know, the mechanic that gets something dropped on his back.
Yeah. Great. Now he's fucking getting pills for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when I was selling at one point, and towards the end I was selling pretty heavy to the homeless community out in Portland. And I had this one guy that would come to me, he's an older gentleman. And he literally, I sat down and talked with him for quite a while. I was like, "Why are you using, bro?" You know what I mean? He seemed kind of like a normal dude, you know? He's pretty normal, and I was like, "What's going on, bro? Like, why are you doing?" And he explained to me about what the doctors did to him. They put him on a crazy dosage for 10, 15 years and then stopped him cold turkey. Just stopped giving it to him cold turkey. And that was where my real realization of like, holy shit. The fucking it makes sense, bro. It all makes sense that's what they created this fucking problem.
They really did. Like, and you found heroin quickly, but like I found pills quickly.
Yeah, I went straight to heroin.
And for me, I went to pills, and once I had that sensation, I could pinpoint where I was, what I was doing. I called my buddy up for some weed, and he was like, "I don't got any weed, but I got 2 10s on me." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, guys? Perk 10s." And I was like, "Okay, they're $10 a piece." He's like, "Yeah, there, I'll get 2." Thinking that I'm just going to swallow these pills and not just going to be my Friday night. I swallowed those pills, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is not weed."
No.
I was off to the races, dude, and that was it.
But this is sweet, though. I don't know what this is, but this is sweet.
It took me 2 weeks to find 30s instead of 10s because once you start doing a bunch of 10s, you run out pretty quick, and plus there's a ton of Tylenol you're putting into your body. Okay. Once I found 30s, it was a wrap for me, dude. Roxy 30s, I lived
originals
in them for a decade.
Yeah.
10 years, every day, I was buying, selling, whatever I could do in order to afford 2 to 4 pills a day.
And that's the shit is expensive. It makes sense why everyone went to heroin. It's crazy that you see the shift of it started with pills, then it went to heroin, and now they got fentanyl. It just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, more deathly, more deathly, more deathly. And where are we gonna be in 20 years? You know what I mean? What kind of shit's gonna be out there? There's just such a problem with the drug community is that there's not more sober people happening. There's more addicts happening than there are people getting sober.
Yeah.
So in 20 years, compounded, that turns into eventually 25%, 30, 40% of the fucking U.S. is drug filled. You know what I mean? Every person, everybody, you basically, right now it's in the fact of somebody who's an addict right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows someone who's an addict. It eventually will be the point where everyone's a goddamn addict, bro. And now, what do you do then? It's crazy the shit they did in Portland where they decriminalized everything. And when I came back to Portland, bro, after I left California fully, I remember coming back to Portland and going there for the first time. And it was bad when I was leaving, but it was so bad now to this point where you got cops walking down the fucking sidewalk, and then you also got a fucking dude sitting at the bus stop fucking hitting his jug at the same time, with the cops just walking by. Like, that's how bad it got. And I don't, like, for me, it's just crazy to think that they would even, like, let that slide. Like, it was like we were a guinea pig town to fucking figure out what the fuck what's gonna happen. And it's like, that was when all that shit happened, all the fucking BLM, you know what I mean, all those, like, riots, and it was really when Portland was kind of getting bad. So yeah. I think
I mean, I can understand the concept. Other countries have successfully used that concept and it worked. But at the same time those other countries in Europe aren't getting the drugs that were coming from the cartels in Mexico.
Yeah, they weren't nearly as deep as we are. You know what I mean? We're deep.
They get to Europe, the shit's been stepped on 10 times.
Yeah, they're getting nothing. They're getting basically salt or fucking sugar. You know what I mean? For the most part.
You know, it really is in comparison. I mean, so I understand what they're trying to do, what other countries have done successfully. Yeah. But those countries,
just the wrong time for it. Like,
it really is. Yeah, it really is.
What's that? Oh, yeah, leave that out there? Sweet. Thank you.
Speaking of your vape.
Speaking of my vape, I left it outside.
But yeah, man, did they end up sticking with it? Is it still legal in Portland or?
So it's still, they're trying to clean it up right now. But they caused a lot of damage for the last 3 years of letting that shit happen. And it got to a point where it literally is the wild, wild west out there, and the cops won't come to your aid. They don't care. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, which makes sense. Like, if I was a cop, bro, I wouldn't want to fucking risk my life for this fucking junkie either. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a fucking double-edged blade that they're kind of in a predicament. They're trying, but I don't know. Portland's not a place I vibe in ever anymore. I live 3 hours. No, 3 hours away? I live in Central Oregon now. I live in like, if you know where Bend is, or if you look up Bend, or I live in Redmond, which is 3 hours from fucking Portland. Like,
isn't Bend where Nike started?
Yeah. There's a huge Nike.
Yeah.
Eugene, I think was it. But Bend is like one of those like bigger, like, known about cities other than Portland.
I'm trying to think of why I've known that name. Is that where Goonies takes place?
Yes.
I knew it.
Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah. No. Goonies was filmed in, I think some of it was filmed in Bend, but it was filmed in Astoria. Like,
Astoria, that's
the beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Goonies was filmed in Oregon, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that much. And I knew it was some kind of Astoria. That makes a lot of sense. So what made you want to go to Central Oregon instead of, like, back to Portland or back up to Washington, leave California?
Well, my dad had an offer for me. After I was clean for some time, he gave me an offer of a job. And that's ultimately why I came up here. and wanted to spend time with my dad. Spend time with my dad and be closer. I moved away to California with nothing, nobody. There was it was all self, figure it out, survive. Like, that was the whole point of me going to California, was really, I needed to, again, my mom enabled me my whole life. I would have lived with my mom till I was 60 years old. You know what I mean? I would have, like, right now I live with my dad, but I'm working towards shit. Like, we're working towards building a house for me. We're building his other house next year, and then hopefully we can build my house, in the next year or two after that. But before, it was a fucking, but the ultimate reason for me coming was that offer, and I wanted to make sure my mental was as strong as it could be, and before I took that offer, so I waited probably about 1.5 years, 2 years before he called me up and was like, hey, I actually need you now, and I was like, I'm ready. And I want to make sure I was ready for it, because if I ruin that, that's the last thing I really had,
That's funny. And that's why I left California too, was I was talking to my dad, and we had the plumbing business together back in Central PA. And I was talking to him, and I was like, so how's everything with work been? And he's like, good. And, it's good. I'm like, are you sure? Because, like, it doesn't sound like you're not giving me, like, good, it's great. I was like, what's going on? And he was like, I could use you back here, but I don't want to, like, stop your progression. And I'm like, you won't stop anything. I was like, I'm 4 months clean, and I'm ready to, be back into regular society. And my dad paid my way the entire time, so I could actually have, I was lucky that my dad was more like, yeah, I'll take care of it, because not every parent would do that.
No.
But it was the first time. It was my first time, and they had begged me to go for years.
But even that, you had support. Like, your family, that's such a rare occurrence in most addicts' lives. They don't have that support like that. And so...
No, but I've learned that over time between meetings and doing these interviews. Like, I've heard everything you can imagine.
Oh, sure.
30 episodes. I mean,
I'm sure.
Everything, dude.
One addict's got stories for fucking years. Like, some shit I have, dude, that I've never told nobody, or, like, I regret my whole life for. Like, I live to be the best version of myself, to repay those fucking dark acts that I did. And that's how I live my life now.
Yeah, there was a guy I had on here, and I was like, so he was like, I was a user. I have used drugs for 45 years. And I was like, you don't look that old. How old are you? He's like, 51. I was like, you were 51 and doing drugs? He was like, well, that's when they started to give them to me. I was like, who's they? And he's like, my stepdad and aunt. They were sexually assaulting me and giving me drugs to keep me quiet for 5 years.
See?
5 years.
That's absolutely awful. Most unfortunate.
By 11, he's selling crank, because he's so old that it wasn't meth, it was biker crank that he was getting hooked on, and then selling to the kids at school, and eventually gets kicked out. And 45 fucking years he was in active addiction for. And he went to work every day, and he was the guy that, like, would wake up, do his shot, go to work, come home, and go and do a shot and just chill. He wasn't the meth head that you hear about in the papers. He was the meth head that...
Psychosis out, fucking talking to random ass people that ain't there, fucking, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a bunch of shadow people. He knows exactly what each person does in those shadow people. He's going to be on again soon, too. He's been on my show like 4 times. And he just got stories after stories of shit that he had to go through. And it's always the old heads that, like... Not to have more wisdom, but they're more open to their past because they don't give a fuck as much.
Yeah, that's how I am. It's like, it's a part of me, man. Like, it's one of the first things when someone talks to me about, or asks me about my life, you know what I mean, or even meeting me. It's just one of the first things I'll say, like, because one, I do like that. Dude, that's crazy. You know what I mean? What is it? 5% of fucking addicts make it out. I don't know what the percentage is, but I know it's fucking low. And I know what I achieved is great. And a lot of people dream about getting to where I'm at. And I'm very grateful for that. And
yeah.
So it's one of the...
I drank again. On my 13th month anniversary, I drank.
Okay.
And I went back. I was trying to prove to AA that I could drink non-alcoholically.
Uh-huh.
So I bought a 6-pack of Twisted Tea, and I drank 4, and I poured the other 2 down the sink just to prove that I didn't finish all 6. And then from then on, I was lying to myself because I wasn't like abusing it every day. I was telling myself this is an occasional thing that I'm doing. But then I woke up on February 29th and I was hungover as shit. And I said to my wife, either we got to quit drinking or I need to drink right now. And she was like, okay, are you serious about quitting? And I was like, it's leap day. This is the perfect fucking anniversary day to have, is leap day. We get an anniversary once every 4 years. So she was like, okay, let's do that then. So it'll be 4 years without a drink on leap day this year, but it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
If that makes, it's been 5 years.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, leap day. That's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool because it only comes by fucking once every 4 years. You know what I mean?
What are the chances?
It's a rare day. You know what I mean? So it's something to hold on to because it's more valuable. You know, in your mind.
Any other time in a 3-year span, I could have landed on any other day, either March 1st or February 28th. But it just so happened, and then the whole world shut down 2 weeks later.
Yeah, with COVID.
Yeah, we quit drinking 2 weeks almost exactly before COVID happened.
It's a good time. I mean, the thing about COVID is it created a lot of addicts. I'm sure. I can only imagine the amount of addicts it created because we're just sitting around government was fucking feeding money out.
John Mulaney, the stand-up comedian. He talks about how his addiction took like flight during lockdowns because he had nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's boredom. Boredom is the number one addict killer, addict maker, addict thriver is boredom. Not staying busy, boredom. Like being bored or like boredom. Boredom is the ultimate thing that drives people to drugs or because it's something new. You know, I try to stay busy. I'm an avid gamer, so I still have addiction in my life, right? I'm addicted to gaming. I control it. I game when I'm home and I game with my homies. It's my sort of like release after a day. I smoke my weed and I play my games. I'm not out there in the world doing stupid shit. I'm in my room. I'm saving money. You know what I mean? Ultimately, me being here is doing much lesser evil than I would be doing out there if something snapped, which is very unlikely in my life, but let's not take the risk. You know what I mean? When I'm fully confident in my life, I gotta play. You know what I mean? I'll be more adventurous when I'm more comfortable. Right now, I'm not as, you know, I'm living with my pops, so it's like I'm kind of, you know, still working on shit. You know, I'll always be working on shit, but
yeah, and it's okay to have healthy addictions.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the point when your life's unmanageable, and that's when,
exactly.
You know, anyone can be addicted to anything. You know, people get addicted to going to the gym.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my addictions now. I'm getting back into it next week, but because my buddy's been he's dealing with his stuff right now. I'm trying to help him out, but we stopped. I took the gym as that's one of my. I feel good when I see results, and I'm like, okay, all right, this is all right, cool. You know what I mean? It's that good adrenaline unlock that I need, or the dopamine release.
Yeah.
It's
these are all good addictions to have.
Yeah, they're healthy.
They're healthy addictions.
Yeah.
Like I used to record like crazy because I got addicted to talking to people about their story, and I got addicted to the whole process of putting the episode out, promoting the episode, finding a song, like all that kind of shit. And this is like a hobby to me. I don't make money to do this. You know what I mean? Like
you do it to help people. It helps them. It helps you.
It helps me and it helps the other person I'm talking to, and then it can help one person that's watching relate to something.
Yeah.
Somebody could be watching right now that still drinks here and there. They smoke weed, and they're afraid to talk about it. And now
they'll be ridiculed. You know, and it's like for those people, man, I look out for me. I look out for number one. Again, like I said, I don't go out searching to help people, but I'll help them if they're in my path. You know what I mean? If they're already on the path that I'm walking and you're here, what's me extending my hand? You know what I mean? To worrying about what other people think, that's doing shit for other people. I didn't get clean to do shit for other people. I got clean to do shit for myself, for me, to be
You
a
got
stronger version of myself.
You got to be like, you know how horse racing. I'm not sure if you ever watch any kind of horse racing, but those horses have blinders.
Mm-hmm.
And I always consider my recovery is I gotta have blinders.
Yep.
I can't know what you're doing over there or what you're doing over there because I can trip over my own feet and fuck myself.
For sure.
But if I got those blinders on, that tunnel vision, I'll know exactly what I'm gonna get out of my recovery.
No, I do it for me. I don't do it for other people. It's strictly for me. So I don't give up. If you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, you don't like me. You don't have to like me. You know what I mean? Like, the people that are in my life today are people that want to be there, that choose to be there. If there was a lot of people I stopped talking to, or it's not even so much that I stopped talking to, it's that communication was lost. And it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very now about me and my recovery, and not even recovery, about my life. I'm about my looking out for number one. That's a big motto of mine. And it is hard. Like, these are fake, bro. Like, these are fucking dentures.
I know they're fake because I knew Jayce before that.
Yeah, you seen the fucked up teeth that I had. And, like, dude, I had to walk around, so they fucked these up pretty bad. Like, the original ones that they got me, the center tooth was over here. It was fucking, they gave me British teeth. Like, if you were to imagine, you know how the stigma of British, like, they gave me fucked up, like, just, I didn't wear them at all. And I was so mad. I was so fucking mad when I saw them that I couldn't say anything. I would have absolutely blown the fuck up and caused damage. And the best scenario in that scenario, best decision I could have made was to walk away. Just leave. So I didn't wear my teeth for 8-9 months. Literally gummed out, dude. Going to restaurants, eat, you know what I mean? I'm straight gumming it. To get to that level of confidence, to not give a fuck what people think, especially when I used to be so vanity driven. I used to be so, look at me, you know what I mean? Or like, so like living off the likes or living off now I don't post it on social media, you know what I mean? Because again, I don't live my life for other people anymore. I live my life for myself. And that is the ultimate success right there. It's for anybody that's out there needs, if you're just like me, where you feel like you can do these things, you know what I mean? Try it. If you fail, you fail. Fucking try something else. Don't do insanity, but like, don't care about what other people think. Do stuff for you. If it's a path you're walking, that's you know what I mean? People are like, don't do that, or like, that's not gonna work. Fucking give it a shot. You know what I mean? Don't kill yourself. You know what I mean? But like, you have to try new things to get different results.
I have a good buddy that he fucked up and he found his drug of choice. He wasn't looking for it. He was going through his mother-in-law's purse to grab something for her, and he came across meth, and he said, "I smoked it," and it just made him back down to 0 days. And I'm like, no, dude. In 5 years from now, you can look back at that one day and laugh that you only fucked up one time in 5 years.
Nope.
I was like, I'd much rather you think that and still count your time, as opposed to thinking I'm making you go to 0, because I know once I tell you you're at 0, you're going balls to the wall again, and who knows how long that's going to last you, because there's fucking...
You might not come back from that one.
There's fentanyl and meth around here now.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm so grateful I got out when I did, because I got out just before fentanyl was really starting to be... Andrew, my homie that I contribute saving my life, who took me to California, he was out there fucking with fentanyl and shit, and like I saw how bad it was through him, and it was awful to watch. He's still struggling, bro, and it's awful to watch somebody. I now see it from a third party perspective of like, I sat with his mom the other night on the phone, like we were crying, bro, and I was not even crying for him, I was crying for her, because I actually saw in that moment what I did to my family and how it affected them so deeply. You know what I mean? You don't think about that shit as an addict. You don't think about what you're doing and how you're affecting the people that care and love you, and how I have to watch you destroy yourself. You're mourning a human that is still on this planet. You're mourning their death like they're gone and they're still here. It's one of the most awful feelings you can feel. And so with that, I've held on to my sobriety, I'm doing this for my future, so I can be the best version of myself, and so I don't have to worry people, so I don't have to make people lose sleep over me and my decisions. You know, I can make stupid decisions. Like, for instance, I just hit my fucking car today. You know what I mean? I can make stupid decisions, but, like, it's not a life-changing stupid decision. I'm not going to fucking make a decision now that's going to change somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And that's, it's awesome, man. I feel great. Like, I'm in such a good head state that.
Yeah, you look great, bro. Not the teeth and everything. You got the long hair rocking, I can see.
I got the long hair. Yeah, I'm growing. I'm
You
full
got a
construction
beard?
worker now. You should see my beard before. I shaved it just recently and went into I just had my soul patch and the what do they call it? Tombstone stash. You know what I mean? Like the Western.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, yeah.
And I shaved it all off, and it's growing back for winter now. But I'm full. I'm going caveman status for the winter. Again.
Yeah, with that. You guys get harsh winters up there too.
Oh, dude, yeah, we're high desert, bro. It gets fucking negative out here in the winters, bro. It's bad. Like today, this morning, it's fucking cold as shit. I'm wearing my thermal fucking winter pants. End of the day, bro, I'm there till I got home at like 6 o'clock my time, and it's fucking hot as shit, bro. I'm sweating my ass off because I'm wearing thermal gear. It's so temperamental. It's crazy.
It's bipolar weather.
Yeah, bipolar ass weather, bro. But
Yep. It's bipolar all October here.
I bet it gets real cold out there too. You guys,
Dude, it's fucking cold.
it's a concrete jungle.
No, I live in the mountains now.
Oh shit.
I live in the middle of nowhere, about 2.5 hours away from my hometown. So it's a really methy area.
Oh shit, yeah, there's those little towns, bro. I swear, it's always the little towns you gotta watch out for. They got, I don't know why, man, but
Well, I think it's because you can make it at home.
yeah, it's true.
You can't manufacture pills. You can't manufacture dope. You can't manufacture anything around here. And what you can manufacture is meth.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, boredom. Again, it goes to boredom. What are you doing in a small town? You're so bored all the time. You know,
Yeah.
try new things. Fucking, so that kind of does make sense though.
That does make complete sense. But either way, man, I'm glad you found time to sit down with me. It's been a while.
For sure, dude.
I remember when I came back for my 1 year, you had your apartment in Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Koreatown. Yeah, a little fucking worst spot I could possibly have been at.
I crashed on the floor for a night, and then I think you went to one meeting with me when I got my 1 year. I can't remember.
I did, yeah. We went to the marina. I think we went to the midnight marina.
That makes sense. And you know, he just passed away. Is the older dude that sat there in front of me the entire time. He was an older black dude, and he would always sit in the corner. And I'm blanking on his name.
He always wore a hat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sat in the corner at the 11 o'clock ones.
I remember
And he just passed away about a year, something like that, a year or two ago.
Natural?
Yeah. Yep. I'm friends with one of his sponsees, and she was on the show. So, and you probably even know her too. There's been so many people on the show that you know from.
I'm sure. Yeah, some good times. So we met a lot of people. That's what I really liked about the whole, is you got to meet a lot of people, a lot of different personalities. You got to, it's just a cool experience. It was a really good experience, California, for me. I hated California and I hated everything about it, but I really appreciate and am grateful for the experience I had down there, because it really turned me into a new man.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. I definitely grew some close bonds, like Jules, like we said earlier, like her stopping up, and then now every time she goes to New York, she stops here.
Yeah.
But that's something that I saw her speak at a meeting, and I'm like, oh shit, I want to hear more about this story. And I became friends with her, and she's like, come over to the yard and hang out and get tattoos. I said, okay. And then I would be over there. She's like, do you have any friends you want to bring? I was like, well, yeah, I have one friend that I'd bring here, but not many. And she said, well, bring your friend. And you were the first one. I was like, hey, come to this meeting with me out front in her yard.
No.
What the fuck? Meeting in her front yard? I'm like, yeah, it's going to be cool.
Good times, bro.
Yep. But I'll let you get back to what you're doing. It's getting late here anyway.
For sure. Yo, next time we on the meeting, I just paid for my sleeve. So I'm getting some sacred geometry I'm turning my cabbage into an actual rose, so that's gonna be great. And then it's gonna be here, let me see. I'll show you a little fucking for the what do you call it? The ideas and themes that I sent them. Pretty sweet shit.
Is it?
So this is the theme I'm going for, like that dark like.
Yeah.
And this is like what it's gonna be though.
Oh,
It's sacred geometry. I don't know. You can't really see it on that, but sacred geometry with a dark theme.
Half arm.
It'll be. I paid for a full day, 1,000 for. He said he could complete this whole bottom half with this in that day. So, whole bottom to the elbow probably, I'd imagine. And then I'll have, this is the first tattoo I'm getting that's like designed, like all these tattoos are. You know what I mean? Fucking little art hands, little cool, little memories. You know, this is like the first. He's gonna design it, draw it out. You know, like real money I'm putting down on a tattoo. So pretty stoked. So awesome. Next time, maybe I'll be a little bit further along in life next time.
So why? It was nice catching up, bro.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Later.
Have a good one.